Austin Eicher and Nick Lee at 141. Take a look at these two. Nick Lee coming off of one of, if not the biggest win in his career over Joey McKenna of Ohio State. That on the road in Columbus last Friday. And Lee shooting in quickly on a single.
It really seems like Nick Lee's changed as he gets the two there. Since he lost to number 8 Tristan Moran on January 13th here in Rec Hall, seems like Nick Lee's been a much different wrestler. A lot more on the attack, a lot more in your face, and it's paid off for him. Back-to-back top 10 wins in the last 2 weekends. And starting strong here again as there's another takedown and another two.
4-1 lead for Nick Lee here about 45 seconds into the first period. The Evansville, Indiana native, ranked second in the country. He's 21-1 so far this season after an All-American finish last year. Austin Eicher, 13-9, transfer from Northern Illinois and a two-time NCAA qualifier himself. Lee looking for the tilt, trying to put this one away early. Lee again there with the arm bar trying to get some swipes. And he has been downright dominant. Almost reminds you of a Zane Rutherford for Penn State from years past. Just shooting in and going right to work.
Yeah, and Nick Lee is a guy on this Penn State team who almost seems like he's overshadowed by the other big names on this that come after him. You know, the Jason Knowles, Vincenzo Josephs. You don't really see Nick Lee there at 141 pounds, but second in the country now. He's really starting to come into his own, and with that, he's becoming really aggressive.
133, probably the deepest weight class in the country, but 141, when you look at the Big Ten, has plenty of strength as well. Nick Lee on Sunday will take on Mike Carr from Illinois. So he takes 2 more points here inside a minute in the first. A big opportunity to lock up that number 1 seed, make a pretty darn good case for it heading into the Big Ten tournament in a few weeks here.
Yeah, you mentioned Mike Carr, ranked 5th in the country. If Nick Lee can go in there, and that's certainly for future discussion, but if he can go in there on Sunday and defeat Carr as well, that's 3 top 10 wins in 3 weeks, and that's really impressive as you know the tournament approaches.
Final 20 seconds here in the first period. And the first period coming to a close, 6-2 the lead for Nick Lee, 2:11 the riding time advantage for the sophomore for Penn State. As Eicher defers, Lee will start down here in the second. Talked about Nick Lee's lone loss about a month ago to Tristan Moran of Wisconsin. And second sudden victory, it came down to a 12-10 loss. There the mat return from Eicher. Just a crushing defeat here at home. You mentioned it, it's been a night and day, that turnaround since then.
Yeah, and Cale Sanderson, that's something that he's talked quite a bit about, is that loss. Certainly not one that anybody here in Rec Hall on that afternoon expected. Probably not one that Nick Lee himself expected. But coming out of that, he worked harder than ever, Cale said, and just kept working his craft, and it's suddenly paying off.
Stall warning called there on Eicher as Lee shoots into the high single, wrapping around, and he 9-2 now. The lead for Nick Lee. .45 seconds left to wrestle here in the second period. 9-3 the lead for Nick Lee.
Nice Nice job by Lee there. That's one of the first shots he's had to fight off so far in this match. Easily sprawled out of that one, so back to their feet.
Lee there on the ankle. And two more. Nick Lee has just been ferocious. 11-3 the lead. Final 15 seconds here in the second.
Yeah, going for that ankle, that's something that he probably learned in the wrestling room with his teammates. You see that a lot from this Penn State team. Love to go for that quick ankle pick, and right there works to perfection.
A dominant second period here, first two periods rather, for Nick Lee. He holds on to an 11-3 lead heading into the third. Almost surprised you see Eicher starting down. He's got to score.
You wonder if Eicher taking down there, wonders if his only chance at getting something here, getting a win, is some sort of a flurry, a scramble where Lee ends up on his back. Maybe that's the reason for him taking down. Other than that, though, you're right. You'd think he'd want to be up and taking shots.
Second stall warning called there on Eicher. It's 12-3, Nick Lee the lead. And the escape, 12-4. Lee there wrapping around the waist, 14-4 the lead. Trips him back down, 16-5 now. Quick catch and release. Inside a minute in this third period. Nick Lee, just a dominant performance here. 30 seconds left in the third. A 10-point lead. Make it 11 with riding time. Up over 3:30.
Yeah, and there's another takedown right there. About ready to say, one of my keys coming into this game, for this match, for Penn State, was don't get lazy. Coming off of the 2 weeks that they've had, might have been tough not to get lazy and complacent here against a struggling, or not struggling, but a not as good Michigan State team. But Nick Lee, he is not lazy at all today. He's all out.
So 19-7, the final. A major for Nick Lee, and Penn State is on the scoreboard just like that. It's 7-4, start to finish. That was all Nick Lee.
That was Nick Lee, and picked up right where he left off last weekend against Joey McKenna. Just put the wood right to Eicher, and that was a really nice performance for Penn State. Leading into Jared Verclair.